Well, ladies and gentlemen, many have wondered if there will be a significant effect in terms of a galvanization of the right wing after the Charlie Kirk assassination. We know that Charlie Kirk was a major asset to the GOP, not just in terms of from an argumentative standpoint and on college campuses and with young people, but also in terms of registration, specifically of young people in terms of helping the right wing. So that is a big hole now. And we would imagine that many people on the right would want to step up, especially when it comes to the ground game within politics and within having as many people as possible registered to vote that may vote Republican and having a presence in a lot of these very important cities and a lot of local races leading into the midterms. We do have this updated poll, and I've only seen a few polls, and you're really not going to get the good polls in terms of how this assassination has affected people for another few weeks. But Rasmussen does do updated kind of daily polling. I think this was their poll that they did over 4 days, and so they've got a new poll that says Donald Trump's national approval rating has surged to +7, sitting at around 53%. Yes, Rasmussen is considered more Republican. Yes, they were also extremely accurate in the 2024 election, and really going back to 2016 and even 2020, Rasmussen's been one of the most accurate pollsters. And so I've looked at Trump's approval rating on Real Clear Politics. It's not great right now. One of the big things I'll be looking for in terms of how this assassination affects people is kind of the lasting effect of it, because I'm sure a lot of liberals are saying, all right, well, this is certainly going to galvanize the right. People are going to be extremely angry, but let's be honest, the midterms are still over a year away. This is something that potentially will wane. And my thought is that, especially when it comes to the reaction, because the assassination happens and it's a scale that we in the modern time haven't seen, especially during social media age and internet age and where we're all connected. We've never seen an assassination of somebody this important politically that has this much of a presence online. And so it's hard to react or kind of predict how that is going to affect the public and the general public and a lot of the normies. But the assassination happens, and then the celebration from many normal middle class people on the left. And the hope is that some of that celebration filters out into the ether, and you get some of these independent people reflecting on this maybe a year from now or so and saying, I didn't know much about Charlie Kirk. I know he's a right-wing conservative, but that reaction was just so vicious and so disgusting. You would think there would be a reaction like that would be what I would imagine from a lot of people, and unfortunately, a lot of independent people are probably not understanding just how widespread this is within the Democratic Party. It's now come out that 58 Democrats voted to not condemn the political violence of the assassination against Charlie Kirk, which is just insane. But it's performance art within Congress, right? And so that's really the difference. 58 Democrats. You can't even condemn it. And this is over a week. You know, you could have a raw reaction immediately, like, oh, you're a liberal and you hate Charlie Kirk, and you think he said bad things. Now it's a week later and they're still spewing this vile and saying that they don't care that Charlie Kirk died. And this is their elected representatives that are in Congress, 58 of them saying we don't care. And again, it's over a week later. You'd think there'd be some reflection, but with these people, it does not exist. They do think legitimately it is justified to murder someone if they say too many wrong words or have a wrong speech, is what they like to call it. And so you wonder, I mean, this is just a Rasmussen poll. We'll see with Trump. You know, I've seen Trump's, I don't really get why Trump has such a bad approval rating. Honestly, it's really not that bad. It's only like -6, -7. For somebody as polarizing as Trump, that's nothing to be all that concerned about. But I don't really see an issue in terms of what Trump is doing right now at all. And you could say, well, you're a Trump. I mean, you could maybe criticize him for a lack of deportations. yeah, there's the Israel stuff and things like that. I mean, it's just like the economy right now is in an amazing spot. Inflation is relatively stable. I mean, the economy's at an all-time high, and we're going to have 2 more rate cuts before the end of the year. Oh yeah, no, let's grade Trump a negative in terms of economy. Seriously, how about the revisement they did? This is how such a sham it is. Do you guys know the big beautiful bill that they criticized and they cited? Oh my goodness, it's going to add, what was it, $4 trillion to the debt over 10 years. That was the entire argument based off of a projection. You know, I heard that projection has been updated, and now they're saying it's going to be a $300 billion surplus. That's how stupid all of this is. So they cite something that gets changed in 3 months later. Their entire argument is based on something that changes within 3 months, and now they're saying, well, the big beautiful bill is going to create a $300 billion surplus. Now, of course, we don't know because it's based on economic growth, and you can't predict it. But it's just such a sham. It really is. So I think Trump is, you know, we'll see what happens with this. But my thought is, with a lot of these independent people, you know, a year from now or 6 months from now or whenever, there's going to be a reflective moment to where they're like, yeah, I didn't really know Charlie Kirk. I know he's a right winger. Some things I agreed with him on. Some things I disagreed with him on. It's like any normie bot. But then they'll be like, well, that reaction from those leftists and just normal middle class people, and it's just so bad and so evil. I just can't vote with that party because it's just disgusting. And you can say, well, an assassination happens, and then you've also got this within Congress now that we're going to go to on 58 of them. Where is this? Let me see if I can find this. Nearly 30% of House Democrats voted against honoring the life of husband and father Charlie Kirk and condemning political violence. A same type of resolution condemning the killing of Democrat Minnesota politician Melissa Hortman passed unanimously 424-0 earlier this year. And so 58 of them with the nay on the resolution condemning the political violence and honoring Charlie Kirk. That's kind of where we're at this point. You've also got this. I mean, this is like, this was the liberal argument from 5 days ago. They can't really use it anymore because it's been exposed and it's just so obvious the kid is a leftist. But you've got MTG against Jasmine Crockett. And Jasmine Crockett says, quote, looks like Yahoo News. It says Charlie Kirk suspect's grandma says the family is all MAGA. You know whose family is also MAGA? Tim Walz. So does that make Tim Walz MAGA? The level of stupidity we deal with on a daily basis with these people. No, but Tim Walz is MAGA because the family is MAGA, right? Like, these arguments are so dumb. And it's like, lady, the family being MAGA does not mean that Tyler Robinson, which all of the family came together and said, no, he's a leftist and he lives with a trans boyfriend. But is it even worth it? Will she even care? It's not like the explanation doesn't even matter. They don't care. So there is that. We've also got this, dude. This, I'm just going to go ahead and play this.
I'm not going to sit up and be in my tears. I'm a whole veteran, baby. So at the end of the day, yeah, come on in the foxhole and get comfortable. I am about what it is. And so just own it. Just own it, Scott.
Look at his reaction. Come on in the fox. Dude, look at his reaction.
Veteran, baby. So at the end of the day, yeah, come on in the foxhole and get comfortable. I am about what it is. And so just own it. Just own it, Scott. It's okay.
I don't understand about 75% of what just happened. However, one thing Brendan Carr told me today, and it is true.
Well, now it's the argument. And to me, like the whole Jimmy Kimmel stuff, I really don't care if Jimmy Kimmel gets 10 hours a day on air or no hour. I mean, I don't watch him. Doesn't matter. I don't think Jimmy Kimmel really has that much of an effect. Honestly, this is probably good for Jimmy Kimmel because now he's in the headlines and now he becomes this liberal kind of martyr against Trump. And, oh, they don't allow free speech. It's terrible because the Trump administration is threatening to pull or revoke the license of ABC. And so they have to remove Kimmel or force an apology. And they're saying Kimmel must donate to Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. and you've got like Hillary Clinton now saying we believe in free speech. Like, come on. But this is like the opposite, right? So they're both calling each other hypocrites. Democrats are calling Republicans hypocrites and vice versa, because now Democrats are the ones trying to defend free speech and Republicans are citing the technical definition. It's not free speech. It is more so, I mean, if Trump arrested Kimmel, then yeah, that would be a violation for sure. And that is the thing that the liberals would argue 4 or 5 years ago. And so now it's being argued. But so these type of things are annoying to me because it's like they're both being hypocritical. But obviously the right wing it's very raw right now. And look, they're trying to argue. If you listen to what Kimmel said, to me, it's still very clear cut in terms of him saying that the kid, I mean, he insinuated the kid 100% was MAGA. Now, I guess there's like a 5% chance you could say that Kimmel meant that Republicans are using the same rhetoric that it doesn't even make sense, actually. I'm not even going to entertain that. Obviously, Kimmel and his whatever his research team did not do a good job of researching that, or they're just blatantly biased. I think they just don't care. Now, should that be a reason he gets pulled off of the air? I don't know. I mean, you could argue that Kimmel's ratings were so bad relative to the amount of money he was making, and it is true if you look it up in terms of his ratings declining each of the past, 7 years now? And they were looking for an excuse to take him off. I don't know, but then they're saying he can apologize and come back on the air. Look, I don't think Kimmel's this important either way. But Trump does have these fixations with the late night hosts, and he celebrated Colbert going off, and he's celebrating Kimmel. He wants, Seth Meyers, and I don't know if he said something about Fallon or one of the other ones. I know John Oliver does a show. I don't know if it's a late night show or how it's branded. Jon Stewart does a show. Some of these shows, I'm not even sure if they're on cable. It's like, how many late night shows are there? But these are all liberal shows. They're all very liberal shows. And I don't know. I think Kimmel probably just got his hand caught in a cookie jar. He said something that was demonstrably false. And he got reprimanded for it. And look, if you try and prove that, well, the Trump administration was involved in a threat against ABC and revoking their license, and that's the reason, and that's the leftist angle. But it's like, how disingenuous is this? You guys, you did the whole distinction and said free speech and the First Amendment only exist in like literally IRL, meaning outside and in areas in public, basically. But obviously public now in and of itself is really online because of the amount of people you can reach, and you can reach so many more people. So we do this thing now to where, oh, we're both hypocrites, and all right. I mean, I just don't think Kimmel is that important. Whether Kimmel is on 5 hours or 0 hours, I don't really care. This is just something that's a good, like, this just really encompasses social media and the blind leading the blind. This is a representative out of Massachusetts. You can see this was a very hit tweet for him or his secretary, whoever sent it. 88,000 likes, 19,000 retweets, almost 8,000 comments. So he says, let's review. X is owned by Trump's largest donor, Elon Musk. Facebook, the owner of it, Mark Zuckerberg, gave Trump $1 million. TikTok, soon to be operated by billionaire Trump donors. ABC fired Kimmel, gave Trump $15 million. That was in a lawsuit in which they settled. I think that's what it was. CBS, I know that was a lawsuit, gave Trump $16 million and fired Stephen Colbert, saying this is not normal, free speech doesn't belong to billionaires. So he's insinuating that the right wing now controls all of social media. Isn't that funny? And just like, when you think about this, so he's saying, because we know all of these other things, he's saying, well, they gave Trump $15 million, so Trump must own ABC. So he's saying that Mark Zuckerberg giving Trump $1 million means, because Zuckerberg gave $1 million, that Trump has extreme control over Facebook and their censorship rules. Consider this for a second, and I think most liberals still have no clue that this is real. Mark Zuckerberg gave Joe Biden, or the Biden campaign, $420 million in 2020 to help Biden win. Remember, they always cite Elon Musk, 250 million. If Trump never got that, there's no way he wins. Zuckerberg almost doubled that in 2020 for Biden. So the idea that because Zuckerberg gave Trump $1 million, which would equate to about 0.23 of what he gave Biden in 2020, the idea that now Trump has extreme influence over Facebook, I just think with tweets like this, I've seen it so many times. It is on both, Republicans and Democrats, but this is just like a social media thing. Like, this is a representative, this is an elected official, and it's just a blatant misrepresentation. If you're equating Trump to having serious power over the censorship rules on Facebook because Zuckerberg gave Trump $1 million, then how much did the Biden administration have? How much power did the Biden administration have? Zuckerberg gave the Democrats, what do you even say, 420 times that. So it's like they tell on themselves because maybe they don't know. Maybe they're just ignorant to the previous donations of Zuckerberg. But I don't even know. And then this other thing that I wanted to go to, this is Hillary Clinton. And Hillary has had this for a while now. I mean, for maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't remember exactly. But all of her tweets now, you cannot reply to them. And again, this has been years this is happening. But it's not even the nature of the hypocritical idea of her disabling comments. It's just the message in general. The idea that Democrats are going to now defend free speech. Really? After all that just happened over the past, 5 or 6 years? The only reason any of this has changed, I mean, you could say for 2 reasons. Trump won in 2024 with the popular vote, and Elon Musk bought X, which has forced a lot of these platforms to change and to not be so biased against conservatives, because there is a serious competitor in which a lot of conservatives will go to consume the majority of their content where they're not censored. So it's just like, it's insane that Hillary Clinton, and also she does keep, I mean, I'm sure she got some pretty crazy replies. You have to keep your replies off. I don't even think Obama doesn't keep his replies off. But she keeps her replies off, and she's had that for years now. So it's funny that she does that. But either way, guys, I think the overall point is we'll have to see the effects that this heinous assassination will have. It seems like a lot of these Democrats, their opinion is because Charlie Kirk said bad things in their view, and because they can label him certain things like fascist, like racist, he deserved to be killed. 58 of them are not condemning the killing over a week later now. And it just shows you the clear difference between the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. And I can already hear the excuse, well, it's because it says honoring him. Yeah, of course we're going to honor him. That's, this is the biggest political assassination we've seen in decades in terms of the influence Charlie Kirk had. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you like the video down below. Also follow me on X. Thank you for watching.